1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay, we're going to do some live guitar lessons here. This is session number 11 for beginners. And what we're going to work on today is actually chords. So we haven't done much chordal work, and I've had you guys kind of working on just technique and things like that. So now let's get into some chords. So if I said play a C, what you need to do is you need to grab your pen and you got to grab your paper, okay? And you got to go, okay, I want to think of the first, the third, and the fifth of the scale. Now remember, a scale has how many notes? 7. That's right. 7 notes. And then after that it repeats. You know how you know? You just go on the E string, this low E. E, that's the E. That's the F. That's the G. That's the A. That's the B. That's the C. That's the D. That's the E, right? In a standard E major. And if you look at count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Actually, that's not E major, sorry, it's just C major. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So you see the 8 is the octave though, right? 8 is the octave. So what we're doing is we're playing just 7 notes. And so if you looked at the 1, 3, 5, the first, the third, and the fifth degree of that C major. So if we took C and we went, okay, we're in C. So C's here, but we haven't really worked so much up here. We worked down here where we found out C was there. But you can just start now looking at, just look at in these 4 areas, look for the C's. C, C there, right? So we're just only working within the 4 frets, right, of your finger. Right, that kind of thing. So, you know you're there. That's it right there. So now you got to put in a third, which is C, D, E, and E. And then you got to put in a G, right? So when you look at this, I want you to examine the C, E, G, but we're going to do it on one string. So we can do it on this low E, or we can do it on this string, the 5th string, the A. And maybe what we'll do is we'll just do it on the low E. So we find your C here on your low E. So E, F, G, A, B, C. So C is on the 8th fret. And then if you go C, find the next E. C, D, E. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. That's the 3rd degree, right? And then now we find the 5th degree. So we're at 3rd. So we're at 4th, or 3rd, 4th, 5th, right? So remember, E to F is a half step. Same thing, just an octave higher. And then the 5th is a G. So it's C, E, G. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Right? Do, mi, so, mi, do. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Okay? So these are all, this is how we play arpeggios, is by this 1/3, 5th degree, really. So I want you just to think of that just for a minute, And now take a moment while I go do something, and I want you to now take it, go to, instead of C, maybe do it now in G. So let's say we're in the key of G major. I want you to tell me what the third and the fifth are going to be of a G. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So you looked up G and you took your pencil or your pen, right? And you wrote down G, B, and D. Is that what you got? G, A, B, third, C, D, fifth. So G, B, D, right? So now if we look at G, where's G? Well, E, F, G. Now let's do this. Let's go to G to B. G, A, B. And let's go to B to D. B, C, D. How about that? So we did that on C. Now we got G. The 1, 3, 5. Now, have you ever heard this song? Stir it up. Okay, it's an old reggae jam, right, by Bob Marley. Well, 1, 3, 5. That's all the pattern is. Nice, simple pattern, one that's really normal and easy for us. Now, we did C and E and G, or C, E, G, and we did B, D, F, like those. So we did C and G. And now let's go to D. Now let's try D. So what would the third be of D? Well, F, right? What is the fifth of a D? D, E, F, G, A. So if you're in D, then you got D, F, A. Okay, so let's try that. D. Now we know D's over here because we already played our little C scale here. So D, E, that's the octave, that's the 12th. So we know D's here. So if you looked at this and you went D, E, F, G, A. Now the reason why I want you to see this one, because this one's going to be different. Watch this. D, F, A, D, or F, D. So D, F, A, F, D. Now, hear this one. Do, mi, so, mi, do. It sounds like intervals, the spaces between some of these are a little different, right? Do, mi. Now remember how this sounded? Do, or do, mi, so, mi, do. Right? 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. It sounds a little different, right? Well, check this out. If we don't sharpen or flatten any notes, remember when we sharpen, we go up one and if we flatten, we're going to go down 1 fret. If we never did that and we just said, hey, let's play a not using sharps and flats, just stay on the actual note itself. Let's play a D, F, A. It's minor. Now, it's minor because the amount of whole spaces or half spaces in between the 1 and the 3 and the 3 and the 5 are different from the major. So what's making the minors and majors different is actually the amount of spaces that are in between the first and the third, particularly, but the third and the fifth makes a difference as well, because when the third changes, obviously the intervals from the 3 to the 5 change as well. So when you look at the D, you're playing on the D, we're just using the E, this low E, so we're making it real simple. We're not even touching anything else. We're just looking at this. But let's go back to the C, and let's just go on our notes: E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. We're at the octave. Let's start on the C and just do the C, E, G again. C, E. How many frets are in between 1 and 3? Well, we got 1, 2, 3, and then the 4, right? So what's called a half step in guitar is just a movement of fret to fret, half step. Whole step is 2 over whole step. Got it? So if you looked at that, how many whole steps are there to get to the 3 in the C? Well, 1 whole step, 2 whole step, 2 whole steps, right? Now let's go to E to G. So the C, E, G, E. Let's go to the E to the G. We got 1 whole step and then a half step, right? You see that it's different from the C to the E. So it's determining if it's minor or major is what's in the beginning, the 1 to 3. If the 1 to 3 is 2 whole steps, we got major. If it's going a half step lower, half step flat, we got minor. Okay? So now do your D, F, A and see how many whole steps or half steps, you can count them both if you want, are in between those ones. So the D, F, and F to A, and see if it's minor or major. Now go to the A and do A and find the 3rd and the 5th degree. I'll be right back. Okay, so now if you looked at the A, the 3rd is going to be what? C. 5th is going to be E. A, C, E. A, B, C, D, E. So we're just working, remember, with 1, 3, 5 with chords. That's really the basic foundation of them, as we talked about in a prior lesson. So now that you got A, C, E, you can look at these and go, hey, well, is the A to the C, is that minor or major? So let's look at that. So now we're learning minors and majors, right? Just by understanding 1, 3, 5. So let's go to the A. And now let's go to C. B, C, right? B to C is a half step. So is that a whole? Is that two wholes or is it a whole and a half? Well, there's my whole, there's my half. So I'm at A, C, E, right? A, C, E. I'm going to teach you that next, that little other thing I just did, but pretty soon. So that's A. Now what you want to do is you'll find, or that A was minor, right? Because it was just one whole and a half. So that's minor. Now what you want to do is take this with all of them. So we did G, E, C, we did G, we did D, we did A. Now go down and do the rest. Okay? So whatever notes we haven't done yet, we haven't done E, we haven't done B, we haven't done, let's see, we haven't done B, we haven't done E, we haven't done F. So if you do those, you'll have them all. And then you find out if they're minor or major. How do you find out? 1 to 3. 1 to 3. When you look at your 1 going to 3, it's either going to be 2 whole steps or you're going to have a whole step and a half step. Okay? Now next lesson what we'll do is we're going to work on the 3 to 5 and see if there's something we can glean out of that too with chords as well. But for right now, you just want to look at those 1, 3, 5s and 1 to 3 in particular and find out if they're minor or major. We're not doing any sharps or flats, so we're not using A sharp, E sharp, anything like that. We're just using the actual notes, just natural. Okay? So everything's natural. So, and then we're learning what major and minor is. Okay? In relation to 1 to 3 of those natural notes. So let's take C, E, G again. So now instead of going here and going just C, E, G, E, C, now we're going to play the chord. We see what it looks like on one note, but a chord is 3 notes plucked together, right? So that's why we got these other strings, because we want to pluck them all together, right? And that's how we go from just melody to symphony, right? Or even harmony but we go from just the one to the many. Okay? So we're going to look at our 4 frets here. We find a C. You can find any C you want. I'm going to find this one. Then I'm going to find an E. I got an E there. I got an E there. I got an E there. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to use this one. And then what I'm going to do is find a G. Now I got a G right here. I got one there. I got one open right here. Isn't that cool? Okay, I just emphasized each one out of those chords so you can hear the middle one. Hear that one. Middle one, top one. Okay, so just try to emphasize each one while I'm playing that chord. So that's C. Right? So that's your chord. And when you strum it, you don't want to strum other notes that are not in that chord. So if you wanted to strum all the notes together, then you got to make sure that you're playing C, E, or G on each one. One of those notes. So this is an E, that works. So we can play that note. This is a C, that's an E. That third one opens a G. So we got that one. Can we find a C, E, or G on the second string? let's see, this is open, it's B. So one down is C. And then remember, whatever's this one is the same as this one. So that's E. So check this out. Now, because the first note we're playing is not a C, it's called an inversion. That's what's called an inversion in chords. Inversion is when you play a different degree than the first degree of the chord note. The chord root, what's called the root. Like the root would be C. We're trying to play a C. But we're not playing the root. The root is the foundation, and that's the C. But we're not playing that first. We're playing the E. So that is a inversion. Now, if you look at your chart, it says C, E, G, 1, 3, 5, right? So E is the first inversion. Now, if you wanted to play the second inversion, it's the G. So instead of playing the open E, I just played the G. C, E, G, and that's the 5th degree of the scale playing on top, second inversion. It's called the second inversion. Why? Because we're just using 1, 3, 5, and if we play with the third at first, that would be that first inversion. If we play with the 5th first, that would be the second inversion, right? So inversion just means you're playing the first note different than the root, okay? So there's different ways to do inversions, but that's for another day. So if we just wanted to play the C with the C rooted on top, then we would not play this E. Isn't that cool? So you can do that with all these other ones too. So if you took G, just took G, B, D. Okay, so let's find a G. E, F, G. We got G. What's the next note? A, B. Hey, we got a B. What's the next note? D. Hey, that's in there too, so we got a D. What's the next one? G. That works too, 'cause we're in G, so we got G. What about the next one? B. That works too. How about this next one? E. Well, we got to change that, so let's change it to E, F, G. There we go. So you see where it's C, G. Is this getting cool or what? Now you're starting to hear songs, right, in your mind. So you can see how this now looks, right? C, G. If you that's classical way. That's plucking way. Right? So whether you have a pick or you're playing classical style. Different right hand styles, right? So there's all kinds of ways. It's all different right hand techniques you can do, but you see just two things. So do that with all your things. DFA. If you do, remember DFA is minor. So when you do DFA, it's going to be cool, right? E, F. Oh, F's good. That's DFA, so we're good there. The next note is A, right? So that's good. D is the next note, so that's good. Next note's G, so G, A, right? We got an A, so that's good. A. So then this next note's B, next string B, and then C, that doesn't work. D, that works. D, and then that's E, that ain't gonna work. What we need to do is either make it a F, which is here, right? Which is going to be very hard for a lot of you, because look at, you got a D, right? And then you got a, let's see, B, C, D. Look at that note, or that chord. Can you guys do that? Can you put your fingers there? Look how difficult that is. That is not an easy chord. But let's just play it with this D. Take out this string, and let's start just on the open D. And let's switch it up like this. So that's minor. Doesn't that sound kind of sad, right? Remember, your first chord was like this, second chord was like this, then you got a D minor. Because you want D in the root. That's why we didn't play these other strings. It's a hard chord too. But we just played we started the D, which is the root, first. Now you got your minor. So if you do this with all of your 1, 3, 5s, don't sharpen or flatten anything, then you'll know what minor and major is with the natural notes. And you'll go, oh, C is a major, G's a major, D's a minor, A's a minor. And you'll start going down. Okay? And then what we want to do in our next lesson is say, okay, what if I want to make the D minor a D major? What do I do then? Now, you can probably guess, but we'll wait till next time, okay? So thanks a lot for the time with you guys. Bye-bye.